Hello, hello, and welcome to this episode of Resting Biz Face. I'm Michelle Allen. This is a kind of bonus episode. It's one of a mini series that I'm going to be releasing over the next few weeks as a little extra in addition to the weekly podcasts that you'll be getting. This mini series is all about speaking to business owners, service providers, creatives who are working in a little bit of a different way. And I'm hoping that chatting to them will inspire you. You'll get a lot from it. I know that I do. By talking to people that are maybe doing things a little bit differently, you can learn about what you want to do and maybe start doing something a little bit differently too. The person that I'm speaking to this week is Suzi Payton, who is neurodivergent, a speaker, a comedian, a coach. She is absolutely fantastic. I could literally speak to her for hours. She has a new book out as well very, very soon, and we spoke about that. I'm going to just crack on and move into the interview. But if you want to follow Suzi, all the details will be in the show notes or in the comments or in the show description here. Make sure you catch up with all the wonderful things that she's doing. Have a listen to this. It is great. All right, bye. Okay, so Suzi, thank you so much for doing this. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you and to have a proper chat about your work and what it is that you do. I know that you do lots of things, but for people that haven't come across you yet, how would you describe what it is that you do?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. So I'm Suzi Payton. I'm a speaker. I'm autistic and ADHD. So I speak about things all autism and ADHD at conferences, into organizations. And I'm also a comedian. So I combine the speaking with the comedic storytelling. So and I also have an alter ego called Polly Parton, who comes along with me to my conferences, and she sings a song all about being autistic and ADHD. I'm an author, recently published a book. Hopefully I'll tell you a bit about that later.
Yeah.
And I'm also a coach. So I work with neurodivergent adults to help them build confidence and unmask and to be their true, authentic selves. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. I love that. And I'm already going off topic, so I'm going to reel myself across this whole conversation. I'm like, no, stick to your questions, Michelle, but I just can't. I love the way that you work is so, it's not similar to me. Like we do different things for sure, but like the way it's so neurodivergent to go, I do a little bit this, I'm a stand-up, I'm a speaker, I have an alter ego, I coach people. It's so exciting and inspiring to meet other people that can create their world and their income and create an income for themselves by channeling their neurodivergence, but also by being able to fully be lots of different things because that's okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I spent my life trying to be one thing and it never felt right.
Yeah.
And now I'm doing all the things with balance because, burnout is an issue. I'm like positively thriving, so happy. So,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about, I'm sure we'll talk about burnout. If we don't, remind me at some point because yeah, it's always the, spinning lots of plates seems to be like the natural thing to do, and that's a good thing, but then also it's like how to handle the natural dropping of some plates is often, for
Yes.
my clients, is often an issue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But before we get to that, because I'm immediately veering off course, so how did you come to let me phrase that. See, me and asking questions is the worst thing in the world, but like how did you come to where you are now? How did you decide, wait, this is my thing, these pieces? How, tell me everything from where you were working to now. Tell me, go. Sorry.
So yeah, my background is teaching. I was a teacher for 17 years, like you were a teacher as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember now. It's all coming back to
Yeah,
me.
me too. I was like, oh
Yeah,
yes, this is what,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was a teacher for 17 years. Before that, I was an activity instructor on summer camps. I
Mm,
worked for PGL as an activity instructor, and I really loved the outdoors, still do, and the practical, physical nature of that. And then, life just takes you in all sorts of directions, doesn't it? And then I I went and studied and became a PE teacher.
mm,
And I thought, this is it, this will be my thing. And I never really felt that it was, in terms of the job itself and the people. I thought these
mm,
will be my people. We like sport. No, they weren't my
mm.
people.
Yeah.
I have made some lifelong friends, I must
Yes.
say. They are my best friends. Actually, only two of them are still PE teaching. The rest are doing other things. Anyway, I digress.
Mm-hmm.
17 years a teacher. I cannot believe I did that for 17 years. I mean, I was in and out of different schools. Either got bored or got burnt out or wasn't supported. I started to recognize that I was neurodivergent about 15 or 16 years ago. And then things started to make sense. And I basically fast forward to the pandemic, and I'd left teaching because I finally saw the light and
Yes.
left because I loved working with kids, and I still do occasionally. But it was the environment, the toxic nature of a lot of the schools that I was in.
Yeah.
And that last one really did me in, and I'm thankful now because it was what I needed to say, you don't need to be doing this, Susie. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was working for the YMCA after teaching, which was nice, really nice, as a kind of job coach, skills advisor, one-to-one with young people who were at risk of homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic came and I was furloughed. And I was just like, oh, obviously it was an
Yes.
awful, awful
Yeah.
time, but I was
Of
like,
course.
thank goodness I can rest for the first time in my life. And then I started to take stock and think, what do I really want to do? So I carried on my training as a life coach, which I'd started 8 years previously and hadn't finished.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, ADHD. And then I was coaching people, like practicing coaching. And I thought, this is what I want to be doing, not going out to work for someone else, being micromanaged, all that carry on. And then I was fortunate enough to take voluntary redundancy. And that's when I created my business, which is, 5 years later, and it's amazing. It's been amazing all the time, but that's how I came to be here.
I love it. I had to, so throughout that entire thing, I've had to be clutching my legs to stop myself waving my hands or interrupting because I'm like, yes, yes, it's so familiar. And it's, I mean, our journeys into the way into business and coaching or consulting or like that is so similar. I was teaching
Yeah.
for 10 years, on and off. I was part-time, full-time, doing theatre stuff in the background, doing like, and yeah, I started to think I have more in common with the children that are autistic, that have ADHD. I was not more in common, but like I kind of got them. I was like,
Yeah.
but surely they're upset because you've just changed all of the schedule, all of that,
Yeah.
which seems reasonable to me. And yeah, just the workload, like the people, lovely, and kind of throughout my life, I've always gotten on with people that I work with, but also just felt like I'm not like them. And
Mm.
then, except for the little shining stars that we all later realize we're all neurodivergent. But yeah, and then stepping into business, doing what is probably quite scary and also, not guaranteed to bring in income. It's such a risk. It just, but it also feels like it feels a lot of that for me personally, that spontaneity and risk and being your own boss fills a lot of what the kind of ADHD side of me needs. And then I
Mm.
build routine into that so that my little health and safety inspector autistic side can be just like, but where is the risk assessment? Um, and it's tricky, but I think that journey is so inspiring that you've been on, to be able to take stock, recognize what you want rather than
Mm,
how you're able to fit. Because I feel like a lot of us who are ADHD can often fit into many places relatively well and
yeah.
almost go unnoticed, and kind of not that, and if we do fit, that's great, but like I feel like a
Mm,
lot of us can, we either get fired or promoted, and and I feel like we can do really well in lots and lots of different things, but
mm,
to be able to decide what's good for us and decide what we want is almost the hardest thing, because we're often spend so much of our lives masking and fitting into a system and going, but I do really well when I fit in. So then to work out
mm.
what it is that we want is really hard. I don't know, I've got off topic entirely,
Yeah, no,
monologuing.
absolutely. I totally agree. And that's the thing, we can fit in. We are like chameleons, and to a point anyway, and then kind of burnout and depression and that kind of
Yeah,
hits you. And but to be doing what you truly want and what feels good is a whole different ball game. And teaching didn't feel good to me, but I just, do you know what I thought? One day I'll get the hang of this. I thought
yeah,
that for like 17 years,
yeah,
especially with the planning, the admin side of things I really struggled with. And I just thought, oh, one day I'll get the hang of it, which is kind of like eternal optimism, but
yeah,
also it needs to be checked, because I just went along like that, thinking
yeah,
I'll get the hang of it one day, and I
yeah.
didn't, you know?
And it's the taking the time to prioritize ourselves. Like I think even if we're earning, that's a miracle. If we're getting an income, that's a miracle. If we're not spending it all, that's a miracle. If if we're staying still for long enough to realize that we, not that we aren't happy, but that we're burnt out, or that we're overwhelmed, or that any of that, not spinning continuously is is rare anyway. And then yeah, I used to always think, oh, so I loved the planning. I
Mm.
then my the I keep saying my autistic side and ADHD side, which is such a simplification that we know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my autistic side was like really into the planning. And then I
Mm.
liked the poor children that I taught. I like the performance side of it, which
Mm.
shouldn't be about me. But I was like, I like teaching,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the lessons were fine, but the me within the school and the scheduling and
Mm.
dealing with the the interaction with the other people, I just always was like, at some point, I will work out how to human. Like I
Yeah.
am definitely that one of the type of neurodivergent people that just secretly have always thought that I'm an alien pretending to be
Mm.
a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd get outstanding like lesson observations. Like I'd do okay, and then I would go home and just be exhausted and have no life, because I was
Yeah.
burnt out, I was
Yeah.
depressed, I was anxious. I have, up until even recently, it's such a reprogramming to think. I've always thought that that to feel sick when you go to work, to feel like a little bit sick all the time, is normal in every job.
Yes. Yeah.
I- just that level of anxiety of going, oh no, it's normal to always slightly feel like you might pass out, and to slightly feel like your heart beating quite fast all the time in a normal
Because it
setting.
is, yeah, it is normal and
Yeah,
that's what you learn, isn't it? That well, you don't, it's so unconscious that that's normal. I was thinking just the other week, like on a Sunday evening, how calm, relaxed, and how excited I was for what tomorrow would bring. And then it hit me. I was like, I never felt like that. It was always that dread, wasn't it? Oh, what's going to face me? What's going to happen next week, sort of thing? What's going to be
yeah,
thrown at me? Well,
yeah,
literally and metaphorically, because I was
yes,
in a challenging school for my last one.
yeah,
But even that wasn't really the problem. Being worried about if I was going to get a chair thrown at my head, it was more everything else that went with it. But yeah, and like you, the performance aspect, yeah, on point. At best, I was an outstanding teacher, but the cost was just too
Yeah.
much because it was a performance like masking, and you know that takes its toll, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really think I think that so many of us are like they do the Oscars every year, and I'm like, I feel like I had that down for like I've been doing that in real life for like so long. I'm like the
Yeah,
best at that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I'm like a champ. I could get an Oscar for masking, definitely.
Yeah, I think I think we do really well. Like, what, you're not scripting it in your head at all times, and you're not, yeah, it's so weird. Right, so, but I could talk to you about teaching all day long, but we won't.
Yes.
Horrible. Let's not do that. So, um, so I have some questions, as I say, but what did I want to ask you? So, when you now run your business, it's a kind of odd question, but like, how much of yourself do you show up? Like, how much in of your personality do you now show in your business? Because you've got different, this is maybe a real like a visual question for me. So I'm sort of seeing in my head that you've got different sections that are almost compartmentalized. Do you have to show up differently to each job, each sort of role, if you're public speaking or if you're doing stand-up, or how do you sort of view this is such an unmasking question. How do you like view yourself now? What roles do you play? Tell me.
Yeah, so that is a great question because I show up as my authentic self when I'm coaching, when
Mhm.
I'm performing, whether that's stand up or whether that's speaking with the mixture of stand up. So when I go into conferences, I'm wearing my pink jacket, my pink trainers, my jeans. I 100% refuse, not that anyone's asked me
Yeah.
to dress in a certain way because if they did, I'd just be like, I'm not the person for you.
You don't
Um,
understand. Yeah.
yeah. So I go in as myself and I speak from the heart. You know, I speak about difficult stuff. Yes, I tell funny stories and get everyone laughing. But I also talk about the difficult stuff, like my journey with alcohol, which
Mhm.
started when I was 13 and ended just over a year ago. And I talk about how I was using alcohol to calm my brain,
Mhm.
to dull the awkwardness of awkward silences, you know, which people just wouldn't have known because I was the clown, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so it's, yeah, I'm 100% myself. And
Yeah.
when I'm performing, like if I'm telling a story, I'm still me, but I'm just like adding dramatic effect, you know, so I'm still authentically me, and that's the beauty of it, and that's why it's working.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And well done, like a year. That's amazing. I imagine
Mm,
that's, yeah,
yeah.
that's really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. Um, I was gonna say that like that coming back to that idea of being on the stage, being I feel like there is an element of being there's such a strength for neurodivergent people in general. I'm talking in very general terms, but like about being on a stage because we know how to mask, but also it doesn't I feel like I love the structure of performing and speaking to a point. I speak a lot less now. I'm kind of not in that vibe right now, but I could see me doing it a lot more in the future. But I love that structure of performance because it's known to be performance. You can weirdly be more authentic, and
Mm,
I don't think I've articulated that very well, but I feel like we really thrive in areas that other people might not so much because of like our ability to read a room and see the performance in the everyday already. There's something
yeah.
less scary about putting ourselves on a stage because we can look after people that are in the audience somehow.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I've got an event that I run called ADHD. Well, I created it and I host it, ADHD The Experience. And it's basically a creative mashup of um, motivational talks and stand-up comedy. And well, I've got a singer coming next time as well. So um, to be in that room with 99% audience neurodivergent, you know, 1% they're allies and they're we keep, you know, we make them feel very welcome, and I do a
Yeah.
bit of neurotypical awareness just so that people know what they're like.
Yeah.
And it's all taken in good humor, of
Mm.
course. And you're right, because then I'm looking after everyone in that room. They're feeling supported, they're feeling seen, sometimes for the first time. And I think you're right. Some people, how do you get up there and do that? I said, well, I've been doing it for over 15 years and it was terrifying. But the more you do anything, if it's aligned with your passions,
Yes.
the easier it gets. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and it comes back to that idea of the teaching thing of like it's fine to feel out of place to begin with, but if it's continually not feeling relaxed, then that's a really good sign to go, this really isn't the thing.
Mm,
Because if something is for us, then yeah, like you say, if it aligns with your values, if it aligns with what you want to do, if it brings you joy. I was watching a video of you just before this call of something about you saying if it brings you joy, then you're on the right track. I love
mm,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I didn't listen to that part of me that was screaming out, Don't do this anymore," because it was just like, no, this is what I do. This is my identity. I'm a teacher. You know, thankfully, I've shed all of that kind of identity stuff to get to the real, true essence of who I am and becoming. You know, it's not something that just stops, is it? It's a journey. But um, yeah, not sure where I was going with that.
No, I love that. I remember I always come back to this when I was 10 or 11. I must have been 11 in secondary school. I remember all the girls in the changing rooms. This sounds like it's the beginning of a terrible story, but it's a lovely story in a way. That like all they were all my friends and they were sort of going, but just be yourself. And me going, but I don't know what that is. As 12-year-old autistic that would not be diagnosed until 42 or something.
Mm,
Like I feel like yeah, a lot of us have spent our entire lives going, does this mask fit? Nope. Does this mask fit? And
mm.
obviously it's like I'm now switching metaphors entirely, but it's like Dorothy with the the ruby slippers, like it was there all along.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean,
Yeah.
that's far too easy for someone like me to realize. Um, so moving into the notion of creativity, because Resting Biz Face is all around the podcast kind of celebrates creativity, business, doing things in a way that works for you. Resting, hopefully, should be about rest. Rest is there just to remind me to always rest rather than burn out.
Yeah.
But it happens. But I want to talk about how creativity shows up for you in your business. So, because so much of what you do links in with culture and creativity and comedy and kind of performance. So, in like a regular week, how does creativity show up for you? Is it in the work that you do, or do you do things on the side as well that are kind of creative? Like
Hmm.
hobbies?
Uh,
I don't do hobbies. I turn everything into business. But yeah.
yeah, that's something I've been thinking about recently as
Yeah.
well. It's like everything, I was literally having this thought about a day ago, like what do I do that's just is nothing to do, because when I'm writing a blog, I
Yeah.
love it, but it's business related. So I am having these ideas, so I must listen to them. And I just picked up a book that I'd bought for my holiday, but I thought, no, I'm going to read it. And I spent this weekend reading it, and it's just a real escape. It's action, adventure, it's short chapters. It's just like, this is what I need. I don't always, it doesn't always have to be the philosophical books, because that always brings me back to my business.
Yeah.
I love them, they're inspiring, but it's funny you brought that up. So I go swimming, but of course when I'm swimming I'm still thinking about what shall
Yeah.
I post today.
Yeah.
It's very hard to switch off, isn't it? But
Mm.
thankfully I love what I do. And it shows up I was teaching a comedy improv workshop on Thursday night for neurodivergent people in Brighton. So you can't get much more creative than comedy improv, can you? And to see them all, like, so they were very nervous, but they all went for it, and it was the funniest thing. Like, I'm still laughing now, some of the things that happened. So, um, and in my talks, they're not scripted. Have some slides to remind me to keep on track. But sometimes, you know, I create things in the moment. I create scenes. I create comedy in the moment in my speaking. And also one-to-one coaching, I offer comedy improv skills within that so that people
Mm,
can build confidence and have a laugh and be mindful, you know, and not think about anything else. So again, it's kind of, I would say it's in everything I do.
yeah, yeah. I think that's it. As is, yeah, sorry, I really resonate. I was just going to repeat back exactly what you said to me, but I'm not going to do that. I was like, that's what I think too. Um, yeah, I think it isn't, and I think having the freedom to do what you love is the important thing. I think that's what because you're
Yeah.
now doing something that you love, you can dial up and down the creativity in a way that works for you because it's yours.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
Rather than having to just do a creative lesson, you get to, yeah, do
Yeah.
something that is yours. And yeah, the hobby thing is really interesting, and I want to go on to talk about marketing in a minute, but I certainly, a lot of my clients and a lot of people that I speak to all day long who are neurodivergent, really, and maybe other people, I don't know how other people live. Neurotypical people are a mystery. I've only been in this brain, but the neurodivergent people that I speak to really sometimes, in inverted commas, sort of struggle with hobbies because
Mm.
either they turn everything into a side hustle, which I may have done, or they kind of don't see the point because it's got no end goal, or
Mm.
they're kind of thinking that they're doing hobbies wrong because they're thinking about work while they're doing hobbies, or they're
Mm.
applying it to their lives in some way. And often there are a lot of people that I speak to are in creative and cultural careers or run businesses as well, which is relatively creative in itself. So they're like telling themselves they're bad and wrong for not resting if they're thinking about work. And I
Mm.
feel like I do that as well. And I think that over time, I've sort of learned that resting doesn't look neurotypical for me
Mm.
anyway. It looks like however I want it. So the thought loops that I have in my head about telling myself I'm bad and wrong for thinking about work when I'm doing something else, even if I'm on holiday, that is a waste of time. So I
Mm.
sort of have this shouldless day thing. So I have a day where there's nothing that I should do. There's only things that I want to do. And if that turns out to be
Mm.
work, that's fine. If that turns out to be apparently a hobby, that's fine. If that means that actually I've just spent time folding things in the chest of drawers because it makes me feel better, that's fine. And
Yeah.
I think taking the pressure off unstructured time and making it structured is sometimes relaxing in itself.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think you're, yeah, 100%. You've said that really, yeah, because there's no point beating yourself up saying, oh, but I should be able to switch off
yeah,
because you know, our brains just, I've come to accept that my brain is just not wired that way. So why try and fight it? So
yeah,
yeah, when I'm swimming up and down in the pool, the ideas come to me, you know, so it's usually when I'm in motion that, you know, and I listen to I do have a routine. I have a routine now. So driving to the pool, I listen to a lovely audiobooks by Eckhart Tolle,
oh yeah,
and that is having a profound impact on my life about bringing myself back to the present moment when the mind goes wandering into the past, even
mm,
for good things, it's still in the past. We're not in the present. And obviously, like anxiety, anxious thoughts, what's happening next?
yeah,
Um, so just bringing myself back, which is much easier than I ever thought possible. It's
yeah,
literally saying, come back or something like that. It's
yeah,
not even like, how do I get myself back? It's
yeah,
like you broken that spell. So
mm,
that's I think that's it is business, but it's more than that. It's life, you know, that sort of book. And then my swim and then my
mm,
coffee, and then I'm like, oh, I'll go home and do some work now. You know,
yeah,
this is my usual Monday morning, not today.
nice.
But
Oh, love it.
yeah, permission to just do whatever feels right and trusting that it will all work out, which it does.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love that so much. And just that your Monday morning gets to be that, it's just fantastic in itself as well, that you give yourself permission to do that. And yeah, I think there's something magical about water as well, but I think I'm going to drift off into something. We'll go in
Yes, and
another direction.
I could talk a long time about water as well, definitely.
All the best ideas come when you're near, or yeah, I need to always be near water or like in the shower. I'm like a cat. I don't swim in the sea because I'm like, no. But I will. One day I will do it, but it's never warm enough.
Oh.
And you do the open air swimming where it's cold as well?
So the sea lanes in Brighton is it is open air, but it's always heated to 19 degrees. So in January it did feel cold, you know, probably not as cold as the sea, but I don't go in the sea in January. But it's just so refreshing and lovely. But yeah, I'm not a hardcore cold water swimmer. I don't go in lakes and things. I go in the sea, but in the summer.
Yeah, yeah, I'm such a I go in the shower and that's it. I'm also such a rubbish swimmer as well. I really want to get into it, but I'm just like this is why I love fitness and personal training. I will at some point, but I know myself well enough to know that unless I have good form, I'm not happy. So I
Yeah,
need some
yeah,
tutoring basically, because
yeah.
apparently I can't just do breaststroke. I have to have someone teach me how to do front crawl because I don't get it. But yeah.
I could teach you if you like.
Yay! I'll just be like, but when exactly does my arm have to just like, and where
Oh,
does my head
maybe,
go?
yeah, maybe
I'm like a
find
little
somebody
robot.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do coaching at the Sea Lanes. They were and King Alfred, they've got swimming lessons. That's a bit. What I like about the Sea Lanes, like when I think about the Sea Lanes, and then I think about an indoor pool is like noise, smell. Sea Lanes, none of that. So maybe yeah, might be worth
Maybe it
looking
is. Yeah,
into.
maybe that's it. Yeah, I have that perception thing as well. I feel like everybody, because of course they're not, but I always feel like everybody's watching at all times. Part of me loves that
Mm.
idea. Part of me, when I'm learning something, I'm like, no, no.
Don't
And with
watch me. I hate
yeah,
being watched. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then, like psychologically, I'm sure that's stuff that I need to unpack and deal with at some point. But I just know myself well enough that I will not go if I feel like I'm being taught something in public, because if the public
Yeah.
will see me.
Yes. Yeah, I get that
It's
totally.
so funny. Like everybody's just getting on with their life, and I know that in my heart. But
Yeah,
um, moving like I'm gonna like U-turn into marketing if you're happy with that.
sure.
So because the way that I work in life is business, books, body. And business, I come at from a sort of marketing and creative angle, and I'm into marketing. I'm into organic social media marketing, trying to keep everything as cheap as possible, but also as social media shifts and changes as ever, but all just becomes harder and harder and harder to reach people. I'm interested in emails and newsletters and how we reach our ideal clients through marketing as
Yeah.
umbrella terms, whether that's in person or traditional marketing, kind of putting adverts everywhere, or if that's through newsletters and email, or if it's organic. So now that I've done that whole preamble of introduction to marketing for no reason, how do you like? This is such a special interest. Tell me about your thoughts about marketing, and do you consider it in any way at all? Or am I just being geeking out in front of you for no reason? Do you consider your marketing and how you're kind of reaching people that will later become your clients? Because I suppose you're looking for corporate clients, you're looking for coaching clients. How do you sort of perceive
Yeah,
marketing?
I love it, to be
Yeah,
honest. I do love it. And I've taken to it as in this is part of the business. So it's all about me. It's not all about me, it's about my
yeah,
client, isn't it? But I am my brand
yeah,
basically. So I went with that. And I've in this last 5 years I've done a lot of inner work because I've course, as soon as you start your own business, all of those old fears come back, don't they? What if they judge me? But who am I to say this? I'm an imposter. I don't know more than anyone else, you know, all that comparison stuff. So I've done a lot of work. And because I do have such a broad range, so I focus my LinkedIn, I've really started to focus that on speaking stuff.
Nice.
LinkedIn speaking with a few bits here and there of events that I do.
Yep.
And then Facebook, I've got a lot of local community stuff going on. So I've got a local Facebook group called ADHD Amigos, which is
Yeah.
a free meetup group. We meet once a month. So if anyone wants to come along to that, that's at the Alcampo Lounge in Brighton, third Thursday of every month. So at my workshop the other night, I had about 11 people, and 9 of those were from the Amigos group.
Yeah.
So, but this has taken, like, the group's been going about 3 years. So this isn't something that just happened, get a group, get them in, because it takes time, doesn't it, to get
Yeah.
to know, like, and trust, especially neurodivergent people, I think, because they've been so badly hurt in the past, haven't they? So, so I've got my local stuff that I use for Facebook for. I do have an email list which I keep forgetting to grow, but I do use it. But I
Yeah.
really want to focus on that more. And then recently I had a bit of an epiphany, thinking I really want to get out and do more in-person networking.
Yeah.
Of course, that's like a bit of a yucky thing sometimes, but I went to this lovely one in London because I do like to go to different places, you know.
Yeah.
And it was called Not Working by Sapna Peru. I'm not sure how you say her last name. Look her up.
Mhm.
And it was karaoke in London near Victoria Station. And I met some absolutely lovely people from all over. And it was just like a real breath of fresh air. So I thought, I need to be doing more of this. It was hectic. I needed to, you know, decompress, but something different, you know?
Yeah. I think you're so right with the in-person, and it's so tricky. So we run for Ironclad, we run the in-person creative catch-up once a month at the Brighton Dome,
Oh,
which
I must
we do
come to
people all
that.
over town. Yeah, it's lovely, and it's kind of networking, coffee morning. A lot of people are just there to chat about what they're doing creatively. And it's really great,
Oh,
but I find I tend to come for the last hour. It's not I'm not facilitating, which is a good thing because otherwise I would be
mm,
late. But Andrew facilitates it because he's definitely more extroverted. He's a facilitator in his bones, whereas I just find I used to facilitate I used to run the business and IP center networking event. I
right.
worked for them when I was a business specialist, and that was lovely, and I used to then get on with my job afterwards, and it was great. But I was like, why am I so tired? But now that I have the
Mm,
choice, I do notice that I need to, I pop in, I do what I need to do, I say hello to all the lovely people, and then I'm done. But
yeah,
I find it is so tricky to find that balance with in-person events because
yeah.
it just brings up all your stuff. Like I get overwhelmed so quickly with a whole person. I love these Zooms. Since I know we were saying, like, obviously COVID was an awful time for everyone. For me, it introduced me to Zoom and working with, like people in
Yeah,
different countries, and just the freedom to work from somewhere that I feel really super safe. But yeah, in-person networking, I'm like, oh, can we just all carry around little rectangles? Because having to see a whole body of
yeah,
everyone and then they're all moving, and yeah, my brain just gets so overwhelmed with like the
yeah,
visual, and I love it.
yeah,
I get really overexcited, and then yeah, after
yeah. And that's what I loved about, there was an activity. There was
yes.
the karaoke, and I do like to sing, so that was a bonus. So it was just lovely. And I've been to networking events before for Gadio, and
Hmm.
it was like mini golf. And I was like, actually, this needs to be more of a thing. And I'm
Yes.
careful because I'm like, I could do that, couldn't
I
I?
could
And
do
I'm
you.
like, hold on, got stuff going on. but
Yes.
I am tempted, you know.
Yeah.
But it is hard. So it's finding those right places that is going to be really, well, not just beneficial from a business point of view, but also from a kind of well-being point of view, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I always, it's so hard when you're first starting out as well, because you're focused on getting an income and just often terrified and going, well, this is great, you know, it's great to just say, oh, it's about building relationships or finding your community, I need some income, you know.
Mm.
So you kind of, it is quite hard to just be putting yourself out there, certainly for in-person stuff, putting yourself out there saying this is what I do, and like really needing and wanting to kind of sell what you do. But I do believe that after, and I certainly, we've all been there at the start going, let me just hand out my business card to people, or let me just, you know, let me just get one person that I can connect with and then I'll email them after. And I think all of that is great and fine, but I think you do end up coming back to that logic that you're told at the start of networking of just, it's about building relationships, because it is. And I think that that's the same online as well, like you say, that like, know and trust factor of, you need to build, we have to build community. We have to, when we've got a personal brand, it is representing yourself to the best of your abilities with values that you have, talking about what you do, talking about the transformation, the desires, the results of your clients, building community, and repeat until people trust you to be there.
Yeah, you have to kind of, I am starting something new, but it's very aligned. I don't know if it's a course yet or a program. It's something for new business owners, um, entrepreneurs, neurodivergent,
Mm-hmm.
to, and it's basically teaching and coaching, you know, a blended model of all the stuff that I've learned over these 5 years, just to help people cut out some of the, you should do this, you should do that, you know, making it work for the individual, because I think I'm in a position now to really help people, and the mindset stuff and the confidence and all those foundations to keep plugging away, even when nobody's commenting or liking, you know.
Yes.
I was talking to a client the other day about this, and like Instagram, I don't put much effort into it, I must say.
Mm.
But I know people are watching, because I mean, I keep it updated. I've had a phone call from Dragon's Den asking me to apply
Oh, wow.
from through Instagram. I applied and didn't get through. But anyway, that's not the
But they
point.
know they're watching. Yeah.
Yeah, Gogglebox. And I was really excited because I love Gogglebox and I wanted them to choose myself and Michaela, but they
Mm.
didn't.
Yes.
But that's the point, is just
Yeah.
keep plugging away, build, build, build. People are watching.
Yeah.
The clients I've got through LinkedIn, they've never commented on my
Yeah.
stuff. So I think it's really important to not get hung up on the nobody's commented. Just put it
Yeah.
out there. And I'm doing a course with you know, do you know Denise Duffield Thomas?
Name rings a bell for sure.
She
Yes, I
she
think so.
she wrote Chill and Prosper. She's a Australian businesswoman. Oh,
Yeah.
she's just my idol. I'm not of one of those people that
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
fan, but I
Yeah.
am a fan. And yes, oh yeah, social media.
Yeah.
Just put it out there, because it's like an advert, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
people need to keep seeing you, because I know so many people are. But people will get fed up with seeing my stuff. They don't hardly see any of it. Come on,
Yeah.
these are the
It's like
algorithms.
2%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
you're so right. I think my coach always says lurkers buy, and it's so true. People want stability and they want to see you, and they see 2% of your stuff, 3% of your stuff anyway. If they see your stuff, it means because they're either watching it because they love you, and then the algorithm is showing them more of what you've shown an interest in, or they're watching it because they hate watching it, in which case they're not our people. That's fine. They can do that.
yeah,
Give them a hobby. Apparently
yeah,
people need hobbies. um
yeah,
Apparently that's a thing. But I think you're so right. I think it's about consistency, and small effort over time really does lead to results for it builds like, know, and trust. Like, know, and trust. You like people if you can, if you know, you get to know them, you know what they do, and it's building trust all the time that you're not just going to vanish, that you're a real
Mm.
person that says something that resonates with them, and you can only do that if you keep showing up in whatever way works for you and feels good,
Yeah,
because it shows if
yeah,
it doesn't. um
yeah,
yeah, that's so true. And the what you say about the visibility, even if they're not commenting and liking. I had someone on a message for me today. It was a client for something else. We were talking about the work that we're doing, and then they said right at the end, they were like, "Oh, and by the way, that fitness personal training thing that you're training that you're doing, I definitely, we need to talk about that in the future, about something else, because I need to have you on side for that." And I'm just immediately going, "Oh, I don't even know if they're on my social media. I don't know." So that at
yeah,
some point they've seen what I'm doing in
yeah,
general, and
yeah,
they're just, and that is definitely how I've found clients, had clients come to me, and reaching out as well, but not. I think, yeah, yeah, I think
yeah,
it works. It just filters through, and
yeah,
I know it's working when people tell me what it is that I do. Occasionally, they'll go, "Oh, I see you're doing that," and you're like,
mm,
"Yes, because I told you I was doing that." I don't understand,
yeah,
but it's great. It's great, and it
yeah.
works
Oh,
over
and
time.
also in terms of marketing, I've got a website person that manages my website. So she's working on the SEO, and I have been getting inquiries through that way as well, because I am conscious that all of the social media platforms can just be taken away from you just like that. I did get banned from Facebook a few weeks ago, which was bonkers, for using the word gender. Oh my gosh, in a
Oh,
positive way.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, kind of covering all bases, I think, but not.
Mm,
I am a bit of a scattered person,
yeah,
but I do know that many people just choose one platform and focus on that, which
yeah.
maybe one day I will, but at the moment they're all serving me in some way.
Yeah, I like your strategy. I'm quite scattered in the way that I do it, but I get the logic of focusing on one thing at a time. But then ADHD says no. I like to be everywhere, trying different things, but I know that, I think as long as I'm not telling myself I have to be everywhere doing lots of different things, then that's what works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And things work out, and this is all progress and practice,
Mm,
because I've now, like after 5 years, I'm almost at the point where I'm posting daily, as a real thing. And that's taken a long time, but it feels good now, and it feels right, and I am more focused on it. So I think people get worried of, I'm not where I should be. Like, my philosophy is everyone is exactly where they are supposed to be.
yeah.
And then when you think about that and feel it, it's like, oh, I feel calm again.
Yeah.
Rather than, look at them, they're ahead of me. Well, you don't know what they've done to get there, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's, yeah, yeah, I wonder if some of that is coming from the teaching background as well, of just seeing what. No, for me personally, I was just about to tell you what you thought, but for me, I thought the role of a teacher, seeing a teacher and being like, I can do that. This is lovely. I can play that role. I can be that person with the career and the caring for people and the mortgage and the holidays and it's not, it's not that necessarily, it's not what you think it is. So to look at other people and presume that we can in any way copy that, or just like presume that we know what's in their lives, is just so not the way,
Yeah.
I think. But it's hard.
And I think, yeah, it is hard. Our brains are naturally wired to fill in the gaps and make up stories.
Yeah.
I think our neurodivergent brains take that to a whole new level and create these absolutely amazing stories that just are not true, and they keep us feeling really down and really stuck. So once you know that they're stories, that
Mm.
spell has been broken, and it's like, ha ha, that's not the
Oh,
truth, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of about something similar around not believing every single thought, and it's so important
Mm,
for all people to, yeah, that we not to disrespect our brains and not to tell ourselves we're bad and wrong for our brains having any thoughts but when a thought comes up that is clearly rhubarb, or even if you think it's true for a bit, but you kind of just go, oh, that's just a thought. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I don't need to believe every single thought. It's coming
Yeah.
from what it thinks is knowledge and experience and all of the things, but actually it is just a thought.
Yeah.
Think on
Yeah, I know. And that's been a real game changer for me as
that.
well,
Yeah.
recognizing that, which is what I want to share with everyone. So,
Yes. And before I've, as predicted, completely run over. So before we go, I'm going to wind up by just being quiet and allowing you to tell us, um, what it is that you're working on. I want you to tell us about the book. And I'm so sorry because I'm so excited about your book. So your book, the various ways that people can contact you, and kind of anything that you want people to know about what you're working on at the moment, how they can get in contact with you, and everything. I'll put, if there's anything that we miss, I'll put it also in the notes
thank
as
you.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me about the book. Tell me about what you're working on.
Here's the book, and you are featured in it, Michelle. So you were interviewed for the book, so you are definitely quoted in there. So it's called Lost and Now Found: A Guide to Understanding and Accepting Yourself for Late Discovered Autistic Adults, and that's by myself and Kate Lane Toner, my lovely co-author. And it's available to pre-order paperback, Kindle, and Audible. We recorded it for Audible, which was, wow, that was an experience of determination, fun, frustration, but it was great. So that's coming out, that's available for pre-order. And if you do pre-order, I've got a prize draw with 10 amazing prizes from 10 neurodivergent business owners, physical prizes that will be sent in the post. And I've got events. I've got a pre-launch event with another prize draw, and I'm going to do comedy, Q&A. So yeah, if you go to my website, you can follow me basically on all channels through there. Sign up to my newsletter. That isn't a once a week thing, so do sign up. You won't get spammed.
Mm,
And like I say, I'm working on this program for new neurodivergent entrepreneurs, which is going to be amazing. And it's going to involve stuff like comedy improv for confidence, acting skills, but for good, not for masking.
mm,
And all those basics that we're trying to scrape and learn. So and I'm available for speaking
yeah.
gigs, speaking, conferences, lunch and learns, all about ADHD, supporting neurodivergent people in the workplace. So I think that's me. And my event,
Oh,
ADHD, The Experience at the Brunswick in Hove, comedy, storytelling, motivational talks by neurodivergent speakers and comedians, 20th of August. So go to my website, come along, it's going to be fab.
yay. Thank you so, so much. And as I say, we'll put all of that in the chat. My alarm's going off to remind me to eat. There you go, midday. But yeah, we'll put all of that in the chat, in the bit underneath the podcast, show notes.
Yeah. Yes.
And make sure, if there's anything that we've forgotten, we'll pop that in there. And yeah, I'm so grateful that you've agreed to come and speak, and that
Oh,
we've
thank
got
you.
to chat today. So thank you so, so much. It's been
Yeah,
lovely.
it's great to chat. Thank you.
Thanks.